All right, good afternoon, Mr. Okechukwu, Rollins, Owolabi, Madam Onaji. Good afternoon to everyone. Claytus, Mama, you're welcome. All right, so let's get started. So today is the 3rd of September 2024. Good afternoon, Mr. Victor. September 3rd, 2024, and we're having an analysis session, afternoon analysis precisely. All right, so let's get started. So this afternoon, we're having two fundamental events by 3 p.m. from the United States. That's the ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing prices. So let's just look at the details of this event. So if you click on the details button, we have this news measures the level of a diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers in the manufacturing industry, and actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So let's take note of that for the ISM manufacturing. And for the ISM manufacturing prices, it measures the level of the diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers in the manufacturing industry. Again, actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So we can say that for both of them, actual greater than forecast is actually good for the currency. So by 3 p.m., if the data, now we have the forecast for this event. The forecast for the first one is 4.75, and the forecast for the second is 5.21. So if the actual data released by 3 p.m., if it comes out greater than 4.75, then we'll be looking at buying the dollar. And if on the other hand is less than 4.75, we'll look at selling the dollar. And for the second event also, similar thing will happen. If the actual is greater than 5.21, we'll be looking at buying the dollar. And if the actual is less than 5.21, we'll be looking at selling the dollar. So now, since both events are related, it's possible that the data comes out actual greater than forecast or good for both events. And that means overall, it will be good for the dollar. If it's combined like that, we might look at buying the dollar. In essence, what I'm saying is that if the data comes out all green, if the actual is greater than the forecast, it means the data is good for the dollar, and the color of the data will be green. And in that instance, we might be looking at buying the dollar. And if on the other hand, the news comes out bad for the dollar, that means the actual is less than forecast, the color will be red, and we'll be looking at selling the dollar in that instance. Now, since both events are both ISM manufacturing, I personally don't want to envisage a situation where the data will be conflicting. Conflict here means maybe one is buying and the other is selling. I will not want to envisage that. So let's just stick with a green for a buy and a red for a sell. The other scenario that will happen is that one may be green and the other may be black. But if one is green, the other is black, the market will still go bullish, though the volatility may not be much. And if on the other hand, one is red and the other is black, the market will still go bearish, but the volatility will also not be so much. So that's all I can say from the technical angle for this event. Is the news going to be volatile? Generally, this kind of news are not, you can't compare the level of volatility of the ISM manufacturing to maybe CPI or NFP or the others. So it may be volatile, but not too much volatility is not really so expected. But then let's just trade with caution nonetheless. Let's trade with caution nonetheless. So that's all I can say from the fundamental angle. Now I'll flip to the MetaTrader platform so that we can see the technical projections, ahead of this event. All right, so on the technicals, we'll take a look at the dollar index, and specifically we'll look at the USD CHF. Now, I said yesterday at my weekly outlook that I hold a long-term bullish outlook on the dollar, though in between there could be some retracement, which could mean the market may go bearish, and I still hold on to that view. So this is the dollar index on the monthly time frame, and we can clearly see that, last month closed with price hitting the support level on the monthly time frame. That gives us an outlook, a bullish outlook on the dollar. You can see clearly, last week we had some bullish movements. We expect a further continuation in that direction. So we have our valid support levels both here and here. All right, so you can see we have a valid support, valid support, valid support. Price actually broke out here, but returned back into the support zone, and we have a support. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity to buy the dollar on the long term. And I will go back to my USD CHF. That's my focus for the dollar. Now, this is the USD CHF, and we have price hit a support on the weekly time frame, and last week closed as a rejection candle. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity to buy the dollar this week on the long term. I'll put a lot of emphasis on that. Now, currently, it looks as if the dollar is trying to, make some retracement, but I believe even if that happens, it's going to be short term. I still have the view that price will break out further upwards. So if the news comes out good for the dollar and price is able to break out above this minor resistance zone up here, then I expect a further bullish movement, on the dollar if the news comes out good for the dollar. And while going through this, I also cited the setup I have earlier on the USD card. It's still the dollar. The dollar is still the base currency. And this is already even, having the bullish move at the moment. Now for the USD card on the weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price hits has been trending upwards on the weekly time frame. It's been on an uptrend, and the candle for last week closed as a rejection candle, which gives us a view of a bullish movement. And also we have a support zone here. So an uptrend with a support zone gives us a bullish outlook. And on the 4-hour, that's on the weekly. On the 4-hour, we have a falling wedge pattern, and price seems to have broken out, in the bullish direction from that falling wedge. So technically, now if the news comes out good for the dollar this afternoon, we'll see further bullish movement both on the USD card and the USD CHF. Now, that's if the news comes out good for the dollar. However, if the news comes out bad for the dollar, we may see a kind of a retracement. Price may go to retest, this earlier trend line and support zone, and may evolve eventually into a double bottom pattern, to break out further later. But then for now, I hold on to the bullish outlook because that's a technical long-term view of this instrument. All right, so that's my view on the dollar. I'll look at other instruments, which are about to even break out. Some of them swing, but most of them swing because that's what the market is giving at the moment, just about one that is intraday. Now, yesterday I gave a setup on the AUD USD as a swing setup for the week. A swing setup for the week. And I said I was bearish on the AUD USD for this week, because I took my view from the weekly time frame where price is trending down on the weekly with a resistance level. And the last week candle actually closed as a rejection candle, and all telling us we're looking for a bearish movement on the AUD USD. And on 4-hour, we have a rising wedge, and currently there's now an additional information to the pack, and that's the head and shoulder pattern. Now, price has broken through below the neckline, so we're already on a sell on AUD USD. If you're on the Funnel group, you'll know that I actually dropped the signal, a sell signal on AUD USD just like an hour or less than 2 hours ago. If you've taken that signal, you should already be in some little bit of profit, even if it's not like 5 pips. they're about to be on something at the moment. Now it's a swing setup, which is expected to span the week, all things being equal. Now, don't forget, we still have NFP on Friday, which is majorly a dollar-based news, but between now and then, a lot can happen in the market. So I already gave it's instant execution trade. So I've given the take profit levels, which will be at Fibonacci 50 and 61.8. So for others, you can take advantage of that to take a sell trade on the AUD USD. Okay, so sir, what about the news coming? When the news come green and later red on USD? No, that's not clear. The news cannot be green and later change to red. That doesn't happen. So it's either it comes out red straight away or comes out green, or maybe you're talking about a candlestick. Yeah, candlestick may change color if the condition of the market changes, but not the news. The news will come out in one direction. All right, so I'm bearish on the AUD USD. And yesterday also I said I was bearish on the New Zealand USD. And this is equally ready for a trade. Though I will be careful at this moment because price is still trading around the Fibonacci 23.6. If you want to enter and sell on this, I will advise you wait for price to clearly break maybe the current candle to break below Fibonacci 23.6 to take a sell on the New Zealand USD. And likewise, these are all analysis of yesterday. You can go and watch the video yesterday. Sometimes when you give this setup, it doesn't mean it's going to execute same day, maybe in the next day or a few days after. But that's why we do analysis. It's a forecast. It gives us a heads up of what is about to happen. And the third one I'll show is the New Zealand CAD. These are my three major analyses for yesterday. Bearish on AED USD, bearish on New Zealand USD, and bearish on New Zealand CAD. I'm trying to get the New Zealand CAD. Okay, that one equally, you can see it's ripe. Though this one is retracing at the moment, I also want to feel from technical analysis experience, we may have something that looks like a neckline region around here, and price may try to replicate, this, what happened here it's a 50-50. It may happen that way or not, but ultimately when price breaks this trend line, I expect to see a further bearish breakout on the New Zealand CAD. And if it doesn't work out exactly like this, it may take this whole region as a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, then a drop. So we can keep our eyes on that. But the one that has really triggered, which is the one I dropped the signal on, is the AUD USD. That one, you can take it. It's all the coast is clear on that. You can take that one. All right. So next I want to look at is the okay, I'll look at US oil. Now, I gave my view on US oil yesterday. I remember saying that I anticipated that price would drop first to this support zone, this trend line, before going bullish. I remember having that analysis yesterday. Now, that has happened. Price has dropped to that trend line. Let's check out that trend line. From the weekly time frame, I said yesterday that I'm seeing a symmetrical triangle on US oil, and it's now getting ready for the next bullish wave within this pattern. But for that to be effected, I also clearly said that I believe price will first of all drop, because as I yesterday, price was just somewhere around here. I said I expected price to drop to touch the trend line before reversing. And that has happened. Price has touched the trend line. Currently, we have a minor support zone there, which is equally forming a triple bottom. So we are technically expecting a reversal, from this region. So if you flip down to 4 hour, the current candle is looking like a rejection candle, but it's a 4 hour time frame, so that candle is there to close. But we can still patiently watch out for the next move around this instrument. This is 1 hour. This is 15 minutes. Okay, so on 15 minutes, the possibility I'm seeing on the 15 minutes is that price will drop here, form a double bottom, and we may experience, a breakout from that region. That's what is possible in the immediate. So if price drops low and breaks out above this neckline, you can trigger a buy on US oil. I can tell you that, trigger a buy if this pattern revolves like this. Otherwise, you may have to wait for another pattern that might form on the 4-hour, which is a possible inverse head and shoulder pattern, which may break out upwards. But I think we just look at the 15 minutes time frame first, because that's a lot closer. So let's keep our eyes on that. If it evolves before the end of today, we'll surely update you on what's happening on that instrument. But technically, I'm bullish on the US oil. And for gold, gold is looking bearish. You can see it at the moment. Yeah, I told you I had a bearish outlook yesterday because price is breaking out from a resistance level and a rising wedge. Now we have a minor support zone. Currently, price has broken out below that support zone. Now, let's go down to 1 hour so that we get a clearer outlook. All right, so this is 1 hour. Now, if the next candle, opens below this current level, then it will be safe to trigger a sell on gold. That's in the next 6 minutes. But then we should not forget that there's going to be a news by 3 o'clock. So I would still advise you trade with a lot of caution. So if the news by 3 p.m. comes out good for the dollar as we anticipate, we'll see a further breakout. I think I will even advise you wait till 3, no matter what you are seeing on this one, except you want to scalp, because if the news comes out good for the dollar, they will see a further bearish breakout on gold. So the analysis on gold from yesterday is working out as planned, but let's exercise caution by respecting the fundamentals as it's released by 3 p.m. And finally, I'll look at the, I think US 30 or NAS 100, one of them. Just a minute. All right. So this is DJ30. So DJ30 on the weekly time frame, we have a trend line, an ascending trend line. Price has touched this trend line multiple times in an uptrend manner. And here we have, so technically, we're looking for a bearish breakout. That's the weekly. Now, flip down to daily, we still have that level. And on 1 hour, this is what we have on 1 hour time frame. So for those who trade US 30, I think Mr. Raju and some few others, I remember telling yesterday that I would rather advise our price hits this trend line before we expect a drop. And that has eventually happened. Price has broken down. It even broke out about 2 hours earlier, but then it's still not too late. Still not too late. Okay, so you may take a sell on this while you anticipate price to drop to Fibonacci 50, thereabouts. So we have a sell set up on the DJ30. RSI is clearly below 50 and MACD is clearly below 0. So we have a sell set up on DJ30. Okay, so that'll be all for my end this afternoon. I can see a lot of questions and requests here. I will attend to as many as possible as we round up. Prince Daniel is asking about Euro JPY. Okay, so let's look at Euro JPY. Now, I gave a long-term bullish outlook on Euro JPY yesterday. And that's based on my view from a long-term perspective of price closing for the month of September on a rejection candle, not just a rejection candle. Rejection candle is on a support, closed on a support level. And also on the trend line, which is going in the uptrend direction. So we have a technically we have a long-term bullish outlook on this instrument. And I also said it that on the daily, I'm looking at this as an eventual double bottom pattern. If price breaks above the neckline, will trigger a long-term bullish movement. And on the 4 hour, That was a falling wedge. And I said price breaking out above it, we see a bullish movement. Yes, price broke out above, broke out above, especially this was the viewpoint yesterday. We had some movement upward, but currently is experiencing a retracement. So with the view and the analysis, I believe with time we could still expect, a continuation. That's still very possible. You can see that price hit the trend line. It tested the trend line, and currently we're having some slight bullish movement. So it's possible we may have some continuation, above this. But nonetheless, I always encourage that always make sure that you practice proper risk management when taking your trades in case things did not go as planned. So if you have your risk management in place, this should still protect you. With time, I believe we could still have some bullish movement from that region up there. Okay, Prince Daniel, I'm not getting what you're saying. Say it works out where it cut me out on break even. Maybe you should explain that better. Macaulay, if the news comes, will the news affect August? I don't know when August. August is a month, and we're already past August. So maybe you can explain what you mean by that, or maybe you mean AED USD. Okay, maybe you mean, will the news affect AED USD if the news comes out by 3? It depends, but I really don't expect too much volatility on that news, And the setup I gave on the AED USD is a long term. So even if the news comes out against it, I don't expect the movement to be so much. But nonetheless, always have your risk management in place. But the view on AED USD is a long term move. Is it late to take the AED USD trade now? Well, at this point, it's 1 p.m. I will advise you wait, let the dollar news be released by 3 o'clock. So when the news is released by 3 o'clock, if the news is good for the dollar, that is, you have a green, then you can sell AED USD. Gold, I already analyzed gold, GBP, JPY. I think most of the JPY pairs are retracing. That's what I can see across board. So that also means we need to take caution. The same retracement that the Euro JPY is giving, is what I cited across the other JPY pairs. So you can see, I remember somebody was asking about this also yesterday. I told you I had a bullish outlook. Price actually broke out, but then today we're experiencing retracement. So please trade the JPY with a lot of caution. Trade with a lot of caution. I'm on a sell on Euro USD. What to do, sir? Okay, what informed your decision to sell Euro USD, sir?
I was on the sell since last week or so.
Okay.
So the sell has been running, but it has not come out. So I'm still waiting for it to come out.
Then you should be in profit then.
No, it has not got to it's almost coming down, very close.
Okay, since we are bullish on the dollar, if the news comes out good for the dollar, then we expect some, at least some further bearish movement on Euro USD.
Okay. But the analysis you made, some days back that Euro is still going to be a long-term bearish. I don't know if it's still holding.
If the dollar is bullish, Euro will be bearish. So I should have said that. I will have said that out of the outlook on the dollar.
Okay. But is it showing on the chart, Euro USD chart? Does it indicate bearish nature in the long term?
Well, for me, it's not one of the instruments I'm looking at for this week. And the reason is this. On the weekly time frame, price closed last week. Price dropped to a resistance that's turned to a support level. So that's made me a little bit. I'm very careful of what I say specifically about Euro USD because price is trying to touch that resistance turn support, so we may experience some bounce, technically speaking. It's not. I have better clarity on USD CHF compared to Euro USD. Sometimes you don't just say, oh, because USD is going to buy, so Euro USD will sell. You need to look at the technicals around it. For Euro USD, I'm saying that there's a valid resistance here. There's a valid resistance, and price dropped to that previous resistance now as a support. So it's possible to have some, even if it's a slight bullish movement, that may happen. But I think you should not get yourself so worried about that. I think the news this afternoon is what might determine what could happen in the short term. If the news comes out good for the dollar, then euro may break that, that's a resistance on support and continue selling. Otherwise, if the news turns out bad for the dollar, then we may see a bullish movement from here. Though I don't know how far that will go because that news may not be, it's not usually a very volatile news, except if there are other factors that will push it today. Usually, you can't compare the kind of volatility of the ISM to CPI or NFP. So that's all I can say for now.
It's okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Albert Seed. What I mean, when the news on currency is two at different time, which is
yes, sir.
Then okay, please, can you just say what I'm trying to read? Can you go ahead and say it so that we can save some time?
Yeah, sir.
Go ahead and say what you're trying to explain in the write-up.
Okay, what I'm trying to just say is, let me see. What I mean is when the news on currency is two at the same time, like the currency, it is the same currency like USD, or we can say GPY. But the news, we have two news at the same time, which is very close time, like just the difference between 30 minutes. You get me? Then the first news previous is greater than the POCAS, then the second news POCAS is greater. Then the second news POCAS is greater than the previous. And also the news is just like 30 minutes between, and you also take a long trade of buying. And later the news release the sales. What the situation there, you can handle it.
Okay, what I will advise is this. Sorry, you can mute your device, sir. There's a lot of noise coming from your end. Okay, this is what I will say about that. And that's why when we trade news, we always filter with the technicals. What is the long-term technical bias of that event? So that's why you see that when I looked at the fundamentals on the dollar, I also come to the technicals, and I'm focusing a lot on the long-term technical bias because that's what usually happens when you trade news. So for me now, for the dollar news I'm expecting this afternoon, if the news comes out good for the dollar, it will support my technical long-term bias with the dollar, which means we're looking for a buy opportunity. So if it's an event that is two events like you're suggesting now at a 30 minutes interval, if the first one comes out and it is against your technical bias, I will advise not to take it. Don't trade it. If, for example, now we have a two event now and the first one comes out actual less than forecast, definitely I'll stay out because that's against the bias I have on the long term. So if the second one now comes out and is actually greater than forecast, yes, that's when I'll trade because that one is in line with my overall bias. And if both of them comes out against my technical bias, my own style is that I'll just stay out of both of them. If it's not going in my overall long-term bias, there is no need to take it. That's how I trade news. I trade in the direction of the long-term bias. So that's how I trade news. All right, so I think, what is your take on GBP USD? Well, GBP USD is not giving me the right, it may sell, but it's not giving me that kind of setup that is so cool as I've seen on the AED USD. Let me put it that way. It may sell. I'm not saying it may not, but I have a higher probability on the AED USD because it actually formed the head and shoulder somewhere here, but the trend line is not giving me what I expected. You know, I'm not getting the kind of pattern I expect from it. But that doesn't mean it's won't sell, but it's not what I'm not looking closely at it. So I hope that answered Akinwumi. All right. Madam Onaji, is NAS 100 still going in the same bearish direction as DJ30 today? Now, I'm not saying that. I only have clarity on the DJ30, which is bearish. There's no clarity on NAS. Okay, so that will be the last one. How can I be added to the funded group? Just fund your account. That's why it's funded. Just fund your account, you know, but reach out to your account manager. Your account manager will guide you through the entire process. All right, so we'll end the analysis here. Please trade safe. And don't forget this Friday. Madam Monaji, you didn't hear. I said that I have clarity more on DJ30. DJ30 is bearish. Madam Monaji, I said that DJ30 is bearish, but NAS 100 is not having similar buyers, at least at the moment. I'm not seeing clarity.
I was muted, so I could not communicate. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
I heard you very well now.
You're welcome. All right, so we're rounding up.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
You're welcome. Yeah. So don't forget we have our live NFP trading session on Friday. Fund your account to trade with us live this Friday, just 3 days away. If you are on the platform now, you don't have an account, just visit our website, www.puprime.com, to open a live account. I just dropped the link in the comment section. You're welcome, Mr. Raji. So I just dropped the link in the comment section. Go there, type puprime.com, open a live account, and your account manager will reach out to you immediately. I will guide you through the entire registration and verification process. And our boot camp still continues this week. You know, it's tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday by 7 p.m. You know, it's a crash course, and I tell you, people are getting a lot of value. And if you're chanced, we have physical training on Tuesdays and Thursdays at our Abuja office and Lagos office. I'm currently doing this analysis from the Lagos office, and we actually have quite a number of students right here. So if you're already on the platform, you want to get physically trained, come to our offices for physical training. And there's also the boot camp. Now, the boot camp version I mentioned, which is on Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, is an online version, 7 p.m. Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Now, on Saturday, we also have the physical version of the boot camp on Saturday. So you're there, you have a job, you don't have time to come on physical training during the week, then Saturday is your best bet. Just walk to our office in Abuja and Lagos by 11 a.m. on Saturdays so that I can be a part of the physical bootcamp training session on Saturday. All right, we'll end the analysis here. Take care, trade safe, and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.